Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Sarah Mushtaba with the evening news. The headlines. Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat dies in air crash near Kunnur in Tamil Nadu. Nation condoles untimely demise of General Bipin Rawat. Indian Air Force orders inquiry to ascertain cause of the incident. Cabinet approves continuation of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Grameen till March 2024. Also approves Ken-Betwa interlinking of rivers project. Parliament passes Assisted Reproductive Technology Regulation Bill 2021. Omicron positive cases to be treated in designated COVID facilities with separate isolation area earmarked for Omicron positive patients, says Health Ministry. Vaccination coverage crosses 129 crore 54 lakh mark across the country. Recovery rate stands at 98.36%. Nation pays homage to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji on his martyrdom day. Renowned Konkani writer Damodar Malzo conferred with 57th Gyanpith Award for the year 2022. And Olaf Scholz sworn in as Germany's new Chancellor. As India marches towards administering 150 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, news about the new corona variant is a cause for concern. In this situation, we appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and help others get vaccinated. Please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Chief of Defence Staff Bipin Rawat has died in an air crash today. Indian Air Force said CDS Bipin Rawat, his wife Madhulika Rawat and 11 other persons on board have died in the unfortunate accident. An Indian Air Force helicopter Mi-17V5 carrying the Chief of Defence Staff Bipin Rawat and 13 others crashed in the forest area near Kunnur in Nilgiris district of Tamil Nadu today. Apart from the crew, CDS Bipin Rawat's staff and family members were also on board in the chopper which crashed. The passengers include Madhulika Rawat, President of Defence Wives Welfare Association, Brigadier L.S. Lidder, DA to CDS, Lieutenant Colonel Harjinder Singh, SO to CDS, and 5 PSOs. The helicopter was on its way to the Sulur Air Base. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a meeting of the Cabinet Committee on Security today. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh is likely to give a statement in Parliament tomorrow on helicopter crash. The mishap reportedly happened due to low visibility due to foggy conditions. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has asked the Air Force Chief, Air Chief Marshal Vivek Ram Chaudhary, to reach the crash site. A meeting of senior Defence Ministry officials was held. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh briefed the Prime Minister about the crash. Mr. Singh also visited the residence of the Chief of Defence Staff in New Delhi. An inquiry has been ordered to ascertain the cause of the incident. The mortal remains of those who died in the helicopter crash today have been kept at the Government General Hospital at Kunnur in Nilgiris district. Our correspondent takes a look at the illustrious career of General Bipin Rawat.
General Bipin Rawat was an alumnus of National Defence Academy, Defence Service Staff College and National Defence College. He was commissioned on 16 December in 1978 into the 5th Battalion of the 11th Gorkha Rifle of the Infantry, the battalion which was commanded by his father. During his distinguished career in the Army, General Bipin Rawat commanded an infantry battalion along the line of actual control in the Eastern Sector, a Rashtriya Rifle Sector, an infantry division in the Kashmir Valley and a corps in the Northeast. Bipin Rawat had also commanded a multinational brigade in the Democratic Republic of Congo. As an army commander, he commanded a theatre of operations along the Western Front and was appointed the Vice Chief of the Army Staff before assuming office of Chief of the Army Staff. The General was the Chief of the Army Staff from 31st December 2016 to 31st December 2019. As a first Chief of Defence Staff, Bipin Rawat assumed the charge on 1st January 2020. He was awarded several gallantry and distinguished service awards during his service in the army. With Naseem Naqvi, Bhupender Singh, AIR News, New Delhi.
The nation is mourning the passing away of General Bipin Rawat, his wife Madhulika Rawat, and 11 other persons who died in an air crash in Tamil Nadu today. In a tweet, President Ramnath Kovind said he was shocked and anguished over the untimely demise of General Bipin Rawat and his wife. He said the nation has lost one of its bravest sons. His 4 decades of selfless service to the motherland was marked by exceptional gallantry and heroism. Mr. Kovind said it was deeply painful for him to learn of the loss of lives in the chopper crash. He paid tributes to each of those who died while performing their duty. Expressing grief at the demise of General Bipin Rawat, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said he is deeply shocked by the tragic death of Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat, his wife Madhulika Rawat, senior officials of the armed forces and others in a helicopter crash in Kunnur, Tamil Nadu. He said, known for his remarkable leadership and strategic vision, General Rawat added great strength to our defence capabilities and made a stellar contribution to strengthening our national security. In a tweet, Prime Minister Modi said General Bipin Rawat was an outstanding soldier, a true patriot who greatly contributed to modernizing the armed forces and security apparatus. The Prime Minister said General Bipin Rawat's insights and perspectives on strategic matters were exceptional. He said India will never forget the exceptional service of General Bipin Rawat. Home Minister Amit Shah and Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh have also expressed grief at the demise of General Bipin Rawat. They also expressed their deepest condolences at the sad demise of Madhulika Rawat and 11 other armed forces personnel. General M.M. Naravane and all ranks of the Indian Army have expressed their deepest grief and sorrow over the untimely demise of General Bipin Rawat, Chief of Defence Staff, Mrs. Madhulika Rawat, President DWWA, and 11 other military personnel in an unfortunate air accident. The Army, in a condolence statement, said General Bipin Rawat, India's first CDS, was a visionary who initiated far-reaching reforms in the Indian military's higher defence organisation. He was instrumental in creating the foundation of India's joint theatre commands and giving impetus to the increased indigenization of military equipment, a legacy which will be carried on and strengthened by successive generations. The statement said Mrs. Madhulika Rawat, also the former President AWWA, was an epitome of grace whose presence will be missed by everyone. The deceased, 11 military personnel accompanying the CDS and President DWWA on the way to Wellington will also be equally missed by everyone. The Army said they performed their duties as per the best traditions of the armed forces. The Congress Party has paid tributes to General Bipin Rawat. In a tweet today, Congress General Secretary Randeep Singh Surjewala said the untimely loss of General Bipin Rawat, his wife, and 11 others in a helicopter crash is deeply shocking. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur has expressed grief at the demise of General Bipin Rawat. In a tweet today, Mr. Thakur said he is anguished by the demise of India's first Chief of Defence Staff, General Bipin Rawat. He said General Rawat served the nation with valour and worked towards strengthening India's defence apparatus. He said the country will never forget General Rawat's exemplary service. Let us recollect memories of Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat from his address at the Sardar Patel Memorial Lecture. This was broadcast by All India Radio on the 31st of October this year.
It is to the credit of Sardar Patel that the integration of the princely Indian states into the Indian Union and the political unification of India took place. His contribution in integrating 565 princely states into a new independent India is unforgettable. Later, the liberation of Goa, Daman and Diu carried forward the consolidation of a territorial frontier. Sardar Patel was also clearly conscious of the fact that independent India needed a steel frame to run its civil, military and administrative bureaucracy.
All India Radio will broadcast a special program, Life and Times of a Warrior, at 9:30 p.m. today on 100.1 FM Gold channel.
The Cabinet has approved continuation of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Grameen till March 2024. Briefing the media in New Delhi today, Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur said Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana will ensure housing for all in rural areas. He said the scheme will provide assistance for construction of remaining over 155 lakh houses and will achieve the target of 2.95 crore Pakka houses with basic amenities.
अब इस योजना के साथ साथ हर परिवार के लिए पक्का मकान, पानी, बिजली और शौचालय उपलब्ध करवाने का संकल्प भी पूरा होता है। ये अपने आप में एक बड़ा निर्णय है कि जहां प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना को 2024 तक जारी रखने के लिए ग्रामीण को निर्णय लिया गया। 2,17,257 करोड़ रुपए इसके ऊपर खर्च आएगा।
1 crore 65 lakh houses have been constructed out of the total target of 2.95 crore houses under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana so far. It is estimated that over 2 crore houses will be completed by 15th of August next year. The total financial implication for construction of the remaining 155.75 lakh houses is 2,17,257 crore rupees. Mr. Thakur said the Cabinet has also approved Ken-Betwa interlinking of rivers project. He said it will ensure water availability in the water-starved Bundelkhand region. The minister said increased water availability will boost agricultural activities and increase socio-economic prosperity in the backward Bundelkhand region.
केंद्रीय मंत्रिमंडल ने 44,605 करोड़ रुपए की लागत से बनने वाले केन-बेतवा नदियों को जोड़ने की परियोजना को मंजूरी दी है। ये राष्ट्रीय परियोजना होगी और इसमें केंद्र सरकार का कुल योगदान 90% होगा। ये प्रोजेक्ट 8 वर्षों में पूरा किया जाएगा और जब जैसा मैंने कहा कि 44,605 करोड़ रुपए इसकी प्रोजेक्ट कॉस्ट है, जिसमें केंद्र सरकार का हिस्सा 90% यानी कि 39,317 करोड़ रुपए रहेगा। इस परियोजना से बुंदेलखंड क्षेत्र का विकास तीव्र गति से होगा। यहाँ के लोगों को सामाजिक एवं आर्थिक स्थिति में सुधार होगा। इस परियोजना से बुंदेलखंड क्षेत्र में पानी की समस्या से ऐसे प्रभावित जिले जिनमें उत्तर प्रदेश के बांदा, महोबा, झांसी एवं ललितपुर और मध्य प्रदेश के टीकमगढ़, छतरपुर, पन्ना, सागर, दमोह और दतिया के निवासियों को काफी लाभ होगा।
Mr. Thakur informed that the project would generate 103 megawatt hydropower and 27 megawatt solar power. Parliament has passed the Assisted Reproductive Technology Regulation Bill 2021, with Rajya Sabha approving it today. The bill has already been passed by Lok Sabha. The upper house has also passed the Surrogacy Regulation Bill 2020, with amendments moved by the government. The Assisted Reproductive Technology Regulation Bill 2021 provides for the regulation and supervision of the assisted reproductive technology clinics and the assisted reproductive technology banks. The bill provides that every ART clinic and bank must be registered under the National Registry of Banks and Clinics of India. The National Registry will be established under the bill and will act as a central database with details of all ART clinics and banks in the country. The legislation also envisages prevention of misuse, safe and ethical practice of assisted reproductive technology services for addressing the issues of reproductive health where assisted reproductive technology is required for becoming a parent or for freezing gametes, embryos, embryonic tissues for further use due to infertility, disease or social or medical concerns.
The Education Ministry has launched a mobile app called Bhasha Sangam to help people acquire basic conversation ability in languages other than one's mother tongue to at least 75 lakh people. This language learning initiative has been taken under Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat program as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The app has more than 100 sentences of common usage, both in text and audio format in 22 Indian languages. During the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav period, the ministry aims to teach 100 sentences in an Indian language other than one's mother tongue to at least 75 lakh people. In addition, another mobile app for Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat quiz has also been launched. Coal and Mines Minister Prahlad Joshi today informed the Lok Sabha that the government has prepared a plan to achieve coal gasification and liquefaction of 100 MT of coal by 2030. Replying to questions in the House, Mr. Joshi said the underground coal gasification UCG is not a proven environmentally sustainable technology. He said UCG technology is not proven commercially across the world.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter @AIR News Alerts.
Do you want to fly high, to reach out to the skies? Do you feel proud to wear the uniform? Then join the Indian Air Force.
Applications open from 1st December 2021. To apply online, log in to careerindianairforce.cdac.in.
Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewellery. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India, Jago Grahak Jago.
Now here is a review of proceedings in Parliament today. First from the Lok Sabha, writer is Kumar Rakesh of PTI. Lok Sabha today passed a bill that seeks to bring clarity on the age of retired judges to determine when they will get enhanced pension. The High Court and Supreme Court judges' salaries and conditions of service amendment Bill 2021 seeks to amend two laws for the purpose. Before its passage, Law Minister Kiren Rijiju told the House that the bill seeks to rectify an anomaly in the pension and family pension to end any confusion. It was later passed by a voice vote. As per the bill, an additional quantum of pension to retired judges of High Courts and the Supreme Court will be sanctioned on whenever they complete the age of 80 years, 85 years, 90 years, 95 years and 100 years as the case may be. Addressing a variety of issues raised by the members, the minister said 90% of the pendency of cases lie with the lower judiciary, adding concerted efforts are being made in coordination with the states and other stakeholders to address the issue. He asserted that a certain number of vacancies will be there in higher courts as they are filled by following a due process. Earlier, the Lok Sabha passed a bill on dam safety, endorsing an amendment made in the Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha had passed the dam safety bill on the 2nd of December with minor amendments, including changing the year in the title of the bill from 2019 to 2021. Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat moved the bill in the Lok Sabha, which approved it with a voice vote. The bill provides for surveillance, inspection, operation and maintenance of the specified dams for the prevention of dam failure-related disasters. It provides for an institutional mechanism to ensure a safe functioning of the dams. Originally, it was passed by Lok Sabha on the 2nd of August 2019. Earlier, DMK MP Dayanidhi Maran was engaged in a war of words with BJP members when he raised the issue of 4G and 5G services of the BSNL, alleging that the government was favouring a private operator. This elicited a chorus of opposition from the Treasury benches as the BJP leaders took offence at the allegations, calling it unfair. Intervening in the matter, Speaker Om Birla urged the members to restrict their questions to their respective states and constituencies or policy matters and asked them to avoid levelling allegations. A remark by Mr. Maran against Union Minister Piyush Goyal was struck off the record by the Speaker. Naga People's Front MP Lord Hope Fose flagged in Lok Sabha the alleged sufferings faced by the northeastern states of Manipur, Nagaland, Meghalaya, Assam and Arunachal Pradesh due to the imposition of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, and said too many lives have been lost due to it. Pointing to Saturday's Nagaland firing incident in which 14 civilians were killed, the MP from Outer Manipur during the 0 hour in the House said the incident took place at a time when there were celebrations going on in the state of Nagaland. Mr. Fose's remarks were, however, cut short as the Speaker deemed that he had exceeded the time limit. During the 0 hour, a demand to set up a university in the national capital to honour the memory of Guru Tegh Bahadur was also made. Raising the issue, Akali Dal member Harsimrat Kaur Badal, Congress members Navneet Singh Bittu and Jasbir Singh Gill and BJP member S.S. Ahluwalia recalled the sacrifice of the Sikh Guru. The demand was made on the martyrdom day of Guru Tegh Bahadur, who was executed by the Mughals. Members from Kerala and Tamil Nadu raised slogans in the Lok Sabha on Wednesday as CPIM member A.M. Arif made a demand to build a new dam replacing the 126-year-old Mulla Periyar Dam. Raising the issue during the 0 hour, Mr. Arif, a member from Alapura, claimed that Tamil Nadu had released water from the dam without any warning, which had led to flooding in villages downstream. Soon DMK members were on their feet claiming that the Mulla Periyar Dam was safe. After the passage of the bill on the pension benefits of judges of the higher judiciary, Lok Sabha took up a discussion on climate change. Initiating the debate, DMK's Kanimori said India fulfills over 60% of its energy needs from fossil fuel and asked how the government is going to fulfill its promises made in COP26 at Glasgow and reduce the sulfur dioxide emission. Several members spoke on the issue. Speaker Om Birla later intervened to say that the discussion will be continued tomorrow as well and adjourn the House for the day.
And now review of proceedings in Rajya Sabha. Writer is Sanjeev Chopra of PTI. The highlight of Rajya Sabha today was the passage of two bills to regulate and supervise assisted reproductive technology clinics and to curb unethical practices relating to surrogacy. The Upper House passed the Assisted Reproductive Technology Regulation Bill 2021 with voice vote. The bill has already been passed by Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha also passed the Surrogacy Regulation Bill 2020 with amendments. The bill earlier passed by Lok Sabha will now go back to it for approval as the House of the Elders has made some amendments as suggested by the Select Committee. The provisions in both the bills include penalty and jail terms for violations. This is the first time that a new set of bills have been passed in the Upper House after the passage of the Farm Laws Repeal Bill on the first day of the ongoing winter session. The House has been witnessing continuous disruptions due to opposition protest over the suspension of 12 MPs. Replying to the discussion on both the bills which were taken up together, Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia said, most of the recommendations of the Select Committee have been incorporated in the surrogacy bill. He said the bills are aimed at ensuring respect to women who face problems in giving birth. The Assisted Reproductive Technology Regulation Bill 2021 is for regulation and supervision of the assisted reproductive technology clinics and the assisted reproductive technology banks and for the prevention of the misuse. During the discussion, opposition members, however, continued their protest. Some of them were also seen in the well of the House carrying placards. In the morning, when Rajya Sabha met for the day, opposition members were on their feet demanding the revocation of the suspension of their fellow MPs. It led to the House being adjourned till 12 noon. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu rejected a notice submitted by two members, including Congress leader Deepinder Singh Hooda, for discussing the farmers' issues. Anand Sharma of Congress said a proper notice in this regard was given by Mr. Hooda. However, the chairman said if the House is allowed to function, then we can consider all these things, and continued with the zero-hour proceedings. Leader of Opposition Mallikarjun Kharge said the House is seeing disruptions and he has been requesting that 12 suspended members be called back and the actions against them revoked. He alleged that the suspensions were undemocratic and unconstitutional, but assured their cooperation to the chair. Upset over the disorder in the House, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu said disobeying the chair and disturbing the House is undemocratic. Amidst sloganeering and protest, the zero-hour proceedings continued and several members raised issues of public importance. TDP MP Kanak Merdala Ravindra Kumar sought the centre's intervention to stop what he said was the rampant misuse and diversion of funds allocated for various central schemes in Andhra Pradesh. BJP member Sushil Kumar Modi demanded that the 7,880 MP quota seats in Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan or KVS be scrapped as they go against the spirit of democracy. He said an MP was able to recommend only 10 students and was not able to fulfill the aspirations of all the people. YSRCP MP M. V. Vijaya Sai Reddy demanded the setting up of a joint parliamentary committee to discuss the issue of legal guarantee for minimum support price or MSP of agricultural crops. He said there is a need for a legal guarantee of MSP and urged the centre to form a joint parliamentary committee to discuss with stakeholders concerned and elicit views on various issues of MSP. As sloganeering continued, Mr. Naidu reminded that the leader of the opposition and the leader of the House have been suggested to sit together and resolve the matter so that the House is allowed to function smoothly. Creating disorder, defending the undefendable and trying to force him for the action which he has not taken is not reasonable at all, he said, and adjourned the House till 12 p.m. Today, Rajya Sabha witnessed the question hour also to function normally. In the evening, after the special mention by a few members in the House, it was adjourned for the day. That's all in Parliament Review.
Moving on, the Health and Family Welfare Ministry has said that Omicron positive cases will be treated in designated COVID facilities with separate isolation area earmarked for Omicron positive patients. In a letter written to states and union territories, Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan said it has to be ensured that no cross-infection takes place. He said community surveillance should be prioritized and states should also undertake enhanced surveillance for detecting unusual events such as new clusters of COVID-positive cases. It has also been advised to send all positive samples to designated genome sequencing labs of INSACOG. States and union territories have also been advised to maintain adequate testing in districts, particularly those districts with more than 5% weekly positivity. In news just in, India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has crossed 130 crore landmark milestone today. Union Health and Family Welfare Ministry has said more than 72 lakh vaccine doses have been administered till 7 p.m. today. The government has said more than 139 crore COVID vaccine doses have been provided to states and union territories so far. The Health Ministry today said over 19 lakh unutilized vaccine doses are still available for the states and UTs to be administered.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has paid tributes to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji on his Martyrdom Day. Mr. Naidu said that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was an apostle of humanity and an epitome of sacrifice. The Vice President said his emphasis on universal brotherhood is eternally relevant. Prime Minister Modi has also bowed to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji on his Martyrdom Day. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said the martyrdom of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is an unforgettable moment in our history. The Prime Minister said Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji fought against injustice till his very last breath. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, 3 terrorists have been killed by security forces in a gunfight that broke out between terrorists and security forces in Chek-Cholan area of South Kashmir's Shopian district this morning. Police said that a joint team of GNK Police, Rashtriya Rifles and Central Reserve Police Force launched a cordon and search operation based on intelligence input about the presence of terrorists in the area. As the joint team of security forces approached towards the suspected spot, the hiding terrorists fired upon them, triggering a gunfight which resulted in the killing of 3 terrorists. The identity of the slain terrorist is being ascertained. More details are awaited.
Renowned Konkani writer Damodar Mauzo has been conferred with the 57th Gyanpith Award for the year 2022. Noted Assamese poet Nilmani Phukan has bagged the 56th Gyanpith Award for the year 2021. Mauzo is the second Konkani writer to receive the highest literary award, earlier given to writer Ravindra Kelekar in 2006. Mauzo is a short story writer, novelist and screenplay writer. His novel Carmelin had bagged the Sahitya Academy Award in 1983. His several short stories have been translated into other languages and have appeared in various magazines. Stories of Mauzo depict the struggle of poor people, their agonies and sorrows. Olaf Scholz has been sworn in as Germany's new Chancellor, bringing an end to Angela Merkel's historic 16 years as leader. He was voted in by the German Parliament, where his 3-party coalition has a substantial majority, and given a standing ovation. His centre-left Social Democrats will govern alongside the Greens and the business-friendly Free Democrats. The handover of power marks an end to Mrs. Merkel's 31-year political career. 63-year-old Mr. Scholz steered the Social Democrats to election victory in late September, positioning himself as continuity candidate because he played a key role in Merkel government as Vice-Chancellor. Now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat dies in air crash near Kunnur in Tamil Nadu. Nation condoles untimely demise of General Bipin Rawat. Indian Air Force orders inquiry to ascertain cause of the incident. Cabinet approves continuation of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin till March 2024. Also approves Ken Betwa interlinking of rivers project. Parliament passes Assisted Reproductive Technology Regulation Bill 2021. Omicron positive cases to be treated in designated COVID facilities with separate isolation area earmarked for Omicron positive patients, says Health Ministry. Vaccination coverage crosses the 130 crore milestone in the country. Recovery rate stands at 98.36%. Nation pays homage to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji on his Martyrdom Day. Renowned Konkani writer Damodar Mauzo conferred with 57th Gyanpith Award for the year 2022. And Olaf Scholz sworn in as Germany's new Chancellor. The details of these stories and more log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that we end the evening news. Good night.